Average Pat's Movie Reviews.
Hi everyone, Average Pat here to sit to chat today about the movie The Ryhthm Section. This movie was directed by Reed Morano, who is well known for directing The Handmaid's Tale series on Hulu. And it's based on a book by a gentleman named Mark Burnell. He actually wrote a series called the Stephanie Patrick series. It's actually 4 books. This is the movie adaptation of book 1. The cinematography is done by Sean Bobbitt. The music is done by Steve Mazzaro, but it's produced by Hans Zimmer, which kind of led a little bit of a glimmer of hope for that. However, Hans did not do the music himself. And the editing was done by Joan Sobel. The movie, again, stars Blake Lively. The other 2 major roles are Jude Law and Sterling K. Brown. And it's a movie that attempts to set up a female-type Jason Bourne. Somebody who has a hardship, goes through difficulty, goes through some sort of training, and becomes a assassin, for lack of better words. Not necessarily the same line as Jason Bourne, where he was an assassin and lost his memory. This is somebody who, Stephanie's family is dies in a plane disaster over the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. She believes that it was a plane crash. She finds out from a reporter named Proctor, who's portrayed by Raza Jeffrey, that it was actually a bombing, and it was not anything other than that. It was somebody trying to silence one person, and the bombing had collateral damage, which included her family. Now, Stephanie's gone down the road of hell because she blames herself. She was supposed to be on that flight. She decided she did not want to go, and has been just spiraling out of control downhill. Drugs, prostitution, not taking care of herself. And when she finds out about the bombing, her life takes a 180 and she decides she wants to go get revenge. Blake Lively in his role does very well, despite the writing being what I feel is a little bit on the weak side. There's a lot of time focused with her going through the training by Jude Law, who's a former MI6 agent in this movie. In my opinion, it was too much. They focused on her doing this. They focused on the grief that she felt of losing her family and kept having flashbacks. And between the flashbacks and the training series of / montage, if you will, not necessarily a montage, that's too short, but the 25, 30 minutes that she spends training with him and learning how to do her things, it seemed a little bit too much. They didn't show enough of the action you've come to expect from movies along these lines. Atomic Blonde, John Wick, obviously Jason Bourne. Movies along those lines where you expect really great action sequences. The cinematography by Mr. Bobbitt does a pretty good job considering its limitations. There is a unique perspective of a vehicle chase, which is partially shown in the trailer. I've learned that some trailers are actually bad for movies because they give away too much of a plot point. I think this is one of those movies. I'm not going to get into what plot point or what scene or what anything is, but if you want to go in with a clean slate and not have any biased opinions or expectations, don't watch a trailer. Just go see the movie. Blake Lively does a very good job in this. Jude Law does well for his role. Sterling K. Brown does well for his role. However, the overall story, I think, is a little bit on the sparse side. There's, with the flashbacks repeatedly coming up, are we supposed to feel sad for her or are we supposed to feel angry for her? And the fact that there's so many flashbacks and her dealing with the guilt of not having her family around, it makes it really difficult to tell whether we're supposed to be sad or angry. And, the fact that it's like, oh, look, here's another flashback. Here's a beautiful picture of her mom that she sees and flashes back to her mom, talking to her and kissing her on the forehead. Her dad smiling. Her picture with her brother and sister and mom and dad. It's great. It's a sweet moment. You kind of smile when you see it happening at the beginning of the movie, because everybody's had those family moments. Everybody knows what they are. But to see it over and over and over and over again throughout the movie kind of becomes unnecessarily repetitive, and takes away from the movie in my overall thought. The music was well done. It wasn't exceptional. It wasn't poorly done. It was just okay. Like I said, I was kind of thrown because it says the music was produced by Hans Zimmer, but he did not do the music. Steve Mazzaro did, and it's an okay job. It's not anything spectacular. I expected a little bit more pizzazz to it, a little bit more regional type music in a louder way to kind of signify movie locations changing. They go all over, and you expect to have some sort of change that was a little bit more obvious, in my opinion. But the music was done okay. Like I said, it wasn't exceptional, but it wasn't poorly done either. The cinematography, exterior shots and location shots, some of it was done quite well. Jude Law's cottage is in the middle of nowhere. There's one great shot showing Blake Lively's character walking towards it on this lowly, isolated stretch of what appears to be a road. And it looks like it was taken from a drone. It's just up there really high. It shows the desolation in the middle of nowhere. They capture some of the countryside, the different views, different countries. They do very well with those ones. But again, it's a stretch because they're trying to make the best out of what I thought was a weak story overall. I have not read the book series. However, it is on my to-read list. Now that I know it is a full series, that there's more than just 2 books. It's not like a one and done. I enjoy spy, espionage type, thriller type movies and books. I like reading books first. However, I did not get a chance to do that for this one. In my opinion, the book's always better because there's a lot more detail. And I'm hoping that's what the story with this as well. I did say before that this is a 4-book series by Mr. Burnell. I'll give it a benefit of a doubt that it's a pretty decent series. If you got 4 books, obviously you're selling something pretty decent. I don't think he did very well with the screenplay that he wrote. He got the credit for writing the screenplay on. I don't think he did a very good adaptation. I think some of the flesh of it, some of the details might have been left out, which is why I do want to read the story just to see if it does make a difference. Overall, I give this movie a 3.5 out of 5. It's okay. It's not a bad movie. Blake Lively does very good in her role. However, it's not, a movie that you have to jump to go see. It's interesting. It's a nice twist. It could have been released on Netflix. It's not a superstar standout movie. Although her role was very well and very well acted, it's not going to win many awards, if any. It's not something you need to rush to go see, but it's enjoyable. It's a short movie. It's only, I believe it's only 100 minutes. So it's not very long at all. But it's, I enjoyed it. It was a decent movie overall, but it kind of left you wanting more. You wanted to have a John Wick type action sequence. You wanted to have an Atomic Blonde type series where, one-on-one combat was pretty intense and, extended and multiple times. So it's not something I would highly recommend, but it is something I would say is a very good movie. It's not bad to watch. Again, I give it a 3.5 out of 5. So take it as you want. If you like this review or any of my other reviews, please like them on Facebook. Spread the word. Tell everybody about it. Tell them about my page. Subscribe to my YouTube page. Click on the notification bell. That way you'll know when I do new reviews. And as always, thank you very much for your time. And I will talk to you guys later. Have a great one.